Hi, I'm Mash Ponigala. I'm a brand strategist at Spellbrand. In this ongoing series on brand archetypes, today we talk about the caregiver. The caregiver brand archetype is something to do with empathy. Now, of course, every business needs to be empathetic, right? They need to have empathy towards their customers, towards their target audience, in fact, towards the world in general. So what is empathy when it comes to a brand? Well, empathy can mean many things. However, at the core of that is the brand caring for their customers and the target audience. At least, if you look at it like a bull's eye, right? Like a bull's eye, you got the inner core, inner circle. That's caring for their customers, caring for their target audience. And then you have another concentric kind of circle. That the next circle is to care about the market segment, care about the industry. And then you have another one which is caring about the world in general. So empathy at different levels, that's what every brand needs to have. But a caregiver brand archetype is one where the brand embraces that. It's either because the product or service that the brand is sort of selling has those attributes that draw empathy, that need empathy, that actually aligns with the target audience who care about empathy. So anyway, that's the general definition. But let's look at a bit more detailed definition and also on what the brand strategy would be, what the ideal customers are, and of course, and the kind of archetypal discussion with a couple of different example brands that have taken the caregiver kind of archetype and embraced it. So the caregiver has very high empathy. They want the best for other people and can't stand it when another human being is in pain. They offer physical and emotional protection whenever they can, sometimes to the extent that other comes to rely on them too much. This archetype can be prone to self-sacrifice and can become a martyr, right? Now the caregiver brand is driven by its need to protect, right? It exists to provide care in one way or another. Now this could be through their products or service, but in a larger context, the need to provide care is based on their brand purpose, vision, or mission. In fact, all brands should have a little bit of the caregiver brand archetype to ensure that they have empathy and care towards their target audience. Now what is the brand promise for a caregiver brand archetype? It's safety. The goal? To protect. What is the strategy? To provide unparalleled care. Now, care here is not to be confused with customer care, right? Customer care, customer service, that is a given. That has to be baked into a brand. And it's not an archetype. It is one of the fundamental blocks of a good brand or a great brand. And of course, that's what's missing from a lot of the brands in the marketplace these days, right? And yes, you can have customer care, customer service as one of the kind of differentiating factors. It could also be used to set you up in a blue ocean, but it's very difficult because customer care, customer service is expected. Your target audience, your customers, they expect, just like how they expect high quality product or service, they expect customer care. So don't confuse that with care as in empathy, right? That you care about. Because customer care, customer service, when you're providing a top-notch customer service, it could be, for example, let's play out a scenario so you can see the difference, right? So you buy something from a brand. Let's say you order online flowers, right? You order a bunch of rose creepers and plants for your garden. And they are late. They're a few days late. So they were supposed to be delivered a couple of days back. They're late. Now, when you reach out to the customer, so you reach out to the brand, the way the customer service or the customer care plays out is if they're efficient, they are reachable, number one. So they pick up the phone, you call them, there's somebody who answers the phone, and they take your order number, and they say, oh, we apologize, there's been a little bit of a mix-up, but we are processing it. Rest assured, in the next couple of days, you will get your plants, and they're going to be fine, right? That's one way of dealing with it. Or whatever the scenario might be. Another is where they say, oh, we're sorry, we ran out of those. The last ones we had when you had placed the order actually have some kind of pest, so we had to destroy them, whatever, right? And therefore, please accept our apologies, and here is a refund. Now that is excellent customer service. Bad customer service in that situation can be where they don't respond, right? They don't pick up the phone. You email them, there's no response. You keep contacting them, nothing. And then eventually you have to either, I don't know, maybe raise a dispute, whatever. That's bad customer service. But that is not empathy. So in the same scenario, how could we, what does empathy look like, right? What if this brand was a caregiver brand? Because in fact, I think it's a great market segment to be a caregiver, because people are buying flowers, right? Not flowers, flowering plants. They want to plant them in their garden. So this is a home kind of situation, a home garden. This is a situation where someone loves plants, shrubs, gardening, and they want to be treated right, and so on and so forth. So there, when you send the flowers, imagine sending, I don't know, some kind of an instruction booklet. Now I speak this from experience, and most horticultural brands don't do that. They don't send you a booklet or something that actually tells you how to take care of them, how to plant them. But imagine doing that. That's where empathy comes in, because you care about your customer. You want your customers to actually have healthy, growing plants. You want them to enjoy those plants. You want them to have a beautiful garden. That is empathy. Going the extra mile, providing that care, right? Yeah, I mean, it could be a good example. Maybe it's not that great an example, but you get what I mean, right? So empathy is not customer care, customer service. No, that is expected. That is, it's taken for granted actually, that you have to give great customer service. So the strategy is to provide unparalleled care, right? Now the personality project, the nurse, the hero, the healer, the caring elder. Now who is the ideal customer for this kind of archetype? Caregiver brands resonate with customers who demand the best when it comes to protecting their family or loved ones, right? They're well-rounded individuals who care about life and living well. The target audience would respond to care and empathy-based strategy and marketing campaigns. Okay, what about the weaknesses? These brands can be perceived as old-fashioned, resistant to change, or overbearing. If the messaging and brand story is not told properly, there is a risk of the brand coming across as disingenuous. So the key to success lies in crafting the right kind of brand story. And so what does that really mean? The weakness is that when you, especially now, because consumers are becoming very cynical, right? They're becoming distrusting. They're getting fed up with greenwashing, with corporations that look and sound like they care, but they don't really give a shit, right? No, really, this is what people are getting used to, in the sense that this is what they're seeing. And therefore, they're very cynical. And for a brand to appear caring in a genuine and authentic way is a little difficult these days. So, to really, if you're a brand that has an audience that would respond to care and empathy, and you want to embrace this caregiver as your brand archetype, then the way you communicate that has to be carefully crafted. So your brand story should be carefully crafted. Now, saying that you care won't work. Showing them that you care, that would work. And showing them you care in not in so many words is the key. So your brand story is to align with the care aspect, with that empathy aspect, but not directly. So you don't really say, well, we care for you, we care for your safety, we want you to have a great life. You could say that, but that's not your primary messaging. Your primary messaging is to take up that whatever the pain point is of your customers and deal with it, right? And talk about that, because when you do that, then your customers understand that you really care. And then of course, the other aspect is throughout the buyer's journey, throughout all the touch points, make sure that you analyze your messaging, right? Then your sales process, then your order fulfillment, then your order delivery, then your product or service aftercare. Every one of these points has to have the care element, not customer service, but care. Customer service, yes, but care. So you got to think through, and I can't give you just examples because it's very specific. It is specific to your industry, to your customers, to your product or service, to your journey, that buyer's journey. But you got to really take a deep look, think through and say, what can I add here that would create care? Not to impress the customers, not just so that they'll go, oh, okay, this brand cares about me. No, but to really make them feel happy, right? So think about it. I know it's a tricky one, but if you research a little bit, you will get the hang of this archetype. And the suggested color palette, of course, is green. Why green? Because green is care, it's earth, it's nature, so it plays really well. And here are some images that conjure up this brand archetype. It's about the caring, it's about that empathy, it's about life, and so on. Example brands, well, Johnson & Johnson. This company's many brands embody the caregiver archetype perfectly. Johnson & Johnson offers many self-care and home care items that have become household brands themselves. Band-Aid, Tylenol, etc. Okay, so I've taken this example because this is a direct care, right? Care as it really means. And then you have is Campbell's, right? This company proves that a caregiver need not be in the medical field with its timeless slogan, good. The company seeks to make people feel good, giving them a sense of satisfaction. So these two examples are a little different in terms of typical examples of caregiver, and the reason I chose them is so that it sort of exercises your mind in terms of looking at what brands really mean in terms of archetypes. As far as your brand is concerned, just look at your target audience and align your archetype with your target audience. But remember, all brands should have empathy. It doesn't need to be a brand archetype. You should have empathy baked into your brand, right? Into your vision, your mission, your core values, into your positioning, all right? But do not think that by having this care, this empathy, or customer service, all these things, that you can then swim to the open waters, right? Away from the competition. No, because a lot of these things are expected. These will keep you in good standing with your target audience, but they're not going to differentiate you that much more, especially in these days, right? In the past, maybe, yeah, it would have made a big difference, but not anymore, and especially because everyone is baking them in. The key, of course, is being very authentic, being genuine. So, if you have any questions about this caregiver brand archetype, leave them below and I will try and answer them. If you're building your brand and you're going through this process and you're looking at brand archetypes, just remember that brand archetypes are not created in isolation. They are created, or rather they are embraced by the brand in relation to the target audience. So look to your target audience first, analyze them, build the buyer profile, analyze the customer journey, and then based on the profile, the avatar of your target audience, you then choose one, two, or a combination of more archetypes to be your brand archetype. All right, till my next archetype, take care.